What's up Pythonians? This is Vishesh Trivedi and welcome back to my channel all about Python. Guys, in this video we are going to talk about a Python automation script that is going to communicate with the CoWIN API to get a list of all the states and districts covered by the CoWIN app, get a list of all the vaccination slots based on either pin code or district or latitude and longitude, and also give the feature to set a reminder which will inform you via email the list of all the available vaccination slots based on either pin code or district or latitude and longitude. What you are seeing right now is a quick demo of this script. To know everything about this script, first subscribe to my channel and then watch this video till the end. In this video, I am gonna cover the basic understanding and working of CoWIN API, the basic understanding and working of my script, understanding each function within the script, and finally an important message I want you all to know. So without any further ado, let's begin. The CoWIN API. Indian government has provided a public API to communicate with the CoWIN app database where you can retrieve all forms of data regarding the states and districts covered during vaccination drive, and also all the data of all vaccination slots available based on either pin code or district or latitude and longitude. Here is the flow that you should follow when communicating with the API. The base URL for CoWIN public API is https://cdn-api.co-win.in/api. Step 1. You send a POST request to the endpoint v2 auth public generate OTP with POST data containing your mobile number. Remember, this should be your mobile number as you will receive OTP at this number. In response to this request, you get a TXN ID which is meant to be used for the next request. After that, you have to wait for OTP at your number. Step 2. Once you receive the OTP, you send a POST request to the endpoint v2 auth public confirm OTP with POST data containing two values, TXN ID which is the same ID which we received in step 1 and the SHA-256 encrypted value of the OTP you received on your phone number. If the request is accepted, you receive an authorization token that you will have to use to access all other endpoints. You have to use the token by adding an authorization header to your requests along with the token. Step 3. All the other steps are basically accessing the required endpoints based on what you want to retrieve from the API. Here you can see a few endpoints used within the script to retrieve data from the API. To get info about this, you can refer to the official CoWIN public API documentation. Link is in the description down below. With the API working, it's time to understand the script. The CoWIN script. This script focuses on automating the above mentioned steps using Python and its libraries. The Python libraries that are used in this are request, XLSX writer, email, OS, random, time, hashlib, datetime, platform, getpass, SMTP, and art. It's a pretty complicated script, but its core functionality is pretty simple and can be understood just by analyzing the main function. The code starts by calling the welcome message function that uses the art module to display the ASCII art Python plus CoWIN that you see when you run the script. If you want to know more about art module, you can find a dedicated blog on my blog site. Link is in the description down below. After that, we have the getUserAgents function that reads a list of user agents from useragents.txt file that you can find in the script folder. The script picks randomly from these user agents and uses them in API calls to prevent unnecessary blocks from the API. Next, we have the check internet connectivity function. As the name suggests, this function simply checks whether there is internet connectivity or not. The script won't simply work if there is no internet. Next, we get the user's phone number by using the getPhoneNumber from the user function. It simply gets the phone number from the user while checking for the correct phone number format using regex. Next, we have get OTP from the API function, which takes the phone number as a parameter and sends the post request to the API, as we have discussed before in step 1 of this video. The function returns the TXN ID received from the server as a response. Next, we have the confirm OTP function that uses the TXN ID from the previous function and the OTP that user had received from the API to verify the OTP and get the authorization token, like we discussed in step 2 in this video. Next, this script automatically gets the list of all the states from the API and stores it in states.xlsx file within the same folder. This XL contains a list of all the states in India along with their respective state ID, which is useful within the script. Next, the script's while loop begins. The reason to use a while loop is so that user can get multiple tasks completed while the script is running, so that there is no need to generate an OTP every time a user wants something to be done. Within the script, the function getUserOption main menu displays the main menu and gets user options from them. The options are processed and executed by processUserOptions that calls the respective function within the script to perform user commands based on the options user entered. The script first asks you for a phone number. Once you enter it, it asks you for the OTP. Once you enter the OTP, the script displays its options. You can get a list of districts based on state ID, where you can find your state ID from states.xlsx get a list of vaccination slots by pin code, get a list of vaccination slots by district ID, which you can find by retrieving list of districts within your state using option 1, get list of vaccination slots by latitude and longitude, and finally set an email reminder to remind you about available slots. If you choose email reminder, the script will again show you 3 options, either to get vaccination slots by pin code or by district or by latitude and longitude. That was pretty much the basic working of the script. Now let's conduct a function-wise analysis of this script. Function-wise analysis. First function that we have is print response data. I had created this function for debugging purpose, as it displays the HTTP response we receive from the API when any of the API request fails. Next, we have the getUserAgent function, which, as discussed before, reads user agents from useragents.txt for use within the script. Next, we have getPhoneNumber from user, which takes the phone number as input from the user. It uses regex to verify that the phone number format is correct. Next, we have welcomeMessage function that prints the welcome message containing the ASCII art generated by the art module, and some details about me in case you want to contact me. Next, we have checkInternetConnectivity function, which checks for internet connection. In case if no internet is found, the script simply closes and gives a proper error message. Next, we have getOTP from API function, which contacts CoWIN API to send an OTP to a number passed on to this function. It also returns the TXN ID, which is received as the response of the request to CoWIN API. Next, we have the confirm OTP from API function that requires 2 arguments, the TXN ID which was received from the previous function and the OTP which the user will type manually. If everything is right, the function will return the authorization token received from the CoWIN API. Next, we have getListOfStates function, which is used to retrieve the list of states within the state ID from the CoWIN API. It requires an authorization token as a parameter and calls the function to save data in Excel. Next, we have getListOfDistricts function, which is used to retrieve a list of districts and their IDs based on the state ID. It requires 2 parameters, state ID and authorization token. It calls the function to save data in Excel. Next, we have SaveListOfStates function, which uses the XLSX writer module to create an Excel file states.xlsx and save list of states in that Excel. Similarly, we have SaveListOfDistricts function that also uses the XLSX writer module to create an Excel file districts.xlsx and save a list of districts. Next, we have getUserChoice main menu function, which is used to get user choice, that is, ask the user what command they want to execute. This function returns a string which denotes the choice of the user made, for example districts, to get a list of districts. Next, we have processUserChoice function, which uses the user option to perform further functions. If the user chooses an email reminder loop, it will call the startEmailReminder function. Else, it will call the getDataFromAPI function to get and save the required data. Next, we have startEmailReminder function, which asks the user for email reminder loop settings and accordingly calls the setEmailReminder function. The setEmailReminder function asks the user for a few more commands regarding the email reminder loop and calls the sendMail function. SendMail function is used to send email to the user. It asks for an email account credentials to send email and the recipient email who will receive the emails. The functionality of sending the mail is done by this function. Next, we have the getDataFromAPI function, which is pretty much self-explanatory. This function is used to retrieve data from the API. It takes the authorization token and user choices as input and accordingly retrieves data from the Kovan API. At second last, we have save data in Excel function, which is used to save the data we retrieve from the API onto the Excel. It takes input the data to be stored, and if we mention is return file name, it will return us the name of the file where the data is stored. And finally, we have the main function, whose explanation I have already given in this video. Now for those of you who are wondering what this if __name _ double equals to main is and what it does, you can check out a video on my channel on this specific topic. That's pretty much everything about the script. You can get this script by clicking on the GitHub link in this video's description. Now comes the conclusion and an important message I wanted to convey to everyone. The first ever version of this script or a similar script was created by Bhavesh. The interesting point here is that I have created this script to tell you about the Kovan API, but Bhavesh had originally created it to solve a problem. The problem of not being able to find available vaccination slots for him and his family. Bhavesh used this script to get updated every time a new vaccination slot was available. This helped his family get vaccinated easily. You can find his code's GitHub link in the video's description. I believe that we all should appreciate the power of programming and try to use it for much better use rather than just getting jobs at IT companies. With this, it's time for me to go. This is Vishesh Dwivedi signing off.